Welcome back. Many countries around the world are celebrating International Day of Democracy today with a purpose to not only promote but uphold the principles of democracy. This year, the day will focus on the importance of media freedom to democracy, peace, and delivering the sustainability development goals. Now we are joined on the line by the Namibia Institute for Democracy Executive Director, Naita Hishoono. Good evening, Naita, and welcome to the show.
Good evening, Dr. Watt. Thank you for having me.
Naita, first things first, how would you describe Namibia's state of democracy?
Namibia's state of democracy, we are growing. We're growing. It's been 33 years. We are no more teenagers. We are now young adults. And we are learning. We have different political parties participating in parliament. We have media freedom, number one media freedom in Africa. Worldwide, we are one of the most freest medias. We are going through the processes and we are handling it pretty well as a country. There are some things where we, of course, lack, but all in all, I would say Namibians are participating. Namibians are aware of their rights. Namibians are part and parcel of democracy in Namibia.
Right. Now, why do you think it's important for the media to have freedom in a democratic country?
It's because they are another power in a state or in a country. They're the ones speaking truth to power and holding people accountable, you know. They're reporting, they're informing us, they're educating us, and they need to be protected and they need to be able to do work under the best circumstances.
Now, globally, what would you say are some of the biggest threats to democracy and how can it be protected?
The biggest threats to democracy globally is ever since the whole fake news term has come up, more and more journalists have been questioned and attacked, and their work has been put into question. Of course, journalists and media practitioners need to stay true to their ethics and to the code. And if they do that, then they would report impartially and without fear and favor. But if that environment is not given, which happens in many countries around the world, unfortunately in too many, then you cannot get educated, informed, and know what's going on. It's just impeding a society to grow, because if you don't have certain information, you have nothing to compare to. And the biggest threat is really despotic rulers who are branding and brandishing the media, who are torturing journalists, who are killing journalists, or media practitioners. Not having the policies and the rules to protect media practitioners to do their job. Those are the threats for journalists and this whole fake news story. And, you know, we have so many outlets now where you can get your information. It's also now a responsibility of each consumer of information, news, and media products to compare and to know, is this a legit source? Is this a source I can trust? Is this... It goes hand in hand, you know. The dangers go hand in hand, the dangers we put to ourselves. And that's not cross-checking our facts and our sources.
Now, Namibia votes in 2025. With political parties hard at work preparing towards that, can we look at how political parties choose their leaders and how can voters ensure that leaders have the qualities that can take Namibia forward?
Excuse me, can you please repeat the question?
Namibia gets to vote in 2025, and political parties are currently hard at work at this point. Let's look at how political parties are choosing their leaders and how can voters ensure that our leaders have the qualities that can take Namibia forward.
Thank you, Ndapewa. You know, the period we are in is all part of an election cycle. In an election cycle, you have the time where before voting and after voting. Usually most people relate to the election period and election time as the day of voting. But before that, a lot happens. Political parties, of course, have to vote their members, who's going to represent them at which level. We need to look at our policies, our inner party politics, and our policies at the electoral management body. We need to look at our regional local authority politics. You know, we have 4 types of elections, and each level comes with its own technicalities and challenges. So the electoral cycle is looking at all that, and now we are in the pre-campaign period, where you see a lot of political parties now are setting up their lists and are deciding. So it's what's important is that Namibians understand this process and get invested in this process and participate and get a lot of information. Go to your ECM, your electoral management body, and find out where are we now in the process. Go to your political party and find out what is happening. Right. Go to your communities and find out what are the issues. So, yeah, in a nutshell, it's a very interesting period, and what's important for citizens is to participate, to get informed and to be knowledgeable.
Now, lastly, before we let you go, what role should the media play during this time of democracy?
During the election time or generally during this time in our lives?
You can include election as well.
Election time. The media, you know, they have to report without fear and favor. They have to be ethical. They are a very, very crucial element in democracy, a very crucial institution in democracy. So they have to continue, you know, getting the facts, informing us, playing a part in creating awareness around all these democratic processes around election time. And getting all the facts and information together. So, because a lot of people get their information from either social media or from conventional media. And whichever media outlet you decide to get your information, hold them accountable that this is a very important process. Please report on it. Please send us the information. Please let's have the press briefs and so forth. So the media is one of our main crucial partner in informing us what's going on. And they are the outlet that then report of the results, you know, or of whatever is happening in this electoral cycle.
All right. Naita, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me. Good evening.
Good evening. That was the Executive Director of the Namibia Institute for Democracy, Naita Hishoono, talking to us about democracy, since today is the day of democracy, and also the importance of media freedom in a democratic country.